And it's hard to imagine, concrete in place of the fertile soil. It's hard to imagine commercial buildings stacked all around our church. We like it the way it is. It seems like that's what we should have. It seems like it should be. I would like to take a moment to talk about, used to mention Lowell Beecher's book. Lowell Beecher's book talks about the heritage of Wood Colony. And a great part of the heritage of Wood Colony is the old German Baptist Brethren people. And they're the kind of people that want to be left alone. They've got their own way of life. They don't force it on anybody. And they just want to leave them alone. And they don't like the disruption that's happening here. They just wanted to stay like it is. And frankly, they were there as the original people. Like my grandpa, he homesteaded there in 1905, It's called Wood Colony, not because some German Baptists were there, but because a man named Eben and Sarah Woods, a man and woman named Eben and Sarah Woods, farmed in that area. They actually came to California in the gold rush, but they ended up here in this area and farmed and owned a lot of land. And a lot of things are named after them. There's a river named after them. There's a cemetery named after them. And so it wasn't just old German Baptist people, but there was a lot of them. And this was very upsetting to them. And though they won't come here and speak for themselves because of the way they live, the way they think, I want to speak for them. I want to say, don't bother those people. Leave them alone. They're good, honest, caring, loving citizens, and I just want to say that in their behalf.
Can you give us some background about the German Baptists? Because I know when I moved there almost 26 years ago, I felt like it was a different place from all the other houses I had looked at, all the different areas that I'd looked at. It was almost as if I was walking on sacred ground. Yeah. It was very different, and as I got to learn more about the German Baptist community, I almost felt like I was just a visitor, that was their home. Even where I have bought a house, that's their heritage, and I am there just as a visitor. Can you give us a little bit of background?
I'm sorry you felt that you were there as a visitor. I don't.
I still do.
I don't think they intend you to feel that way.
No, not
at all.
They
intend to love you.
It's their place.
They're good people. They're really good people, but it is. They've been there forever, and their parents were there, and their grandparents were there, and in some cases their great-grandparents were there, and that's their home. That's their home. And background, they came from, I think, Switzerland, Germany. They came over here with a belief that they're not going to keep up with the fashions of the world, and so the world kind of stopped right there for them in many ways, in the way they dressed and the way they worship. It just kind of stopped because they didn't want to be what they call worldly. And so that's the way they chose to live, and but they're not isolations in the sense they don't love other people. They're very loving, and they deserve that back. Is what I'm trying to say.
They have wonderful children.
They have wonderful, loving children.
2 doors down from where we live, there is a German Baptist family, and I think they have 4 or 5 children, or they're probably grown by now. It was always wonderful driving past their house and seeing the mom out in the yard with the children, watching them play. It was just fantastic.
Exactly. They're wholesome people, and that's their area. Stay away from it. Just say, leave them alone. That's what I think. Goodness, leave them alone. And they've been great citizens, and they don't vote. They don't get involved in politics. They don't speak up. You've got to speak up for them. But for goodness sake, let's speak up for them. They're worthy of that. That's what I'm saying. That's basically my thinking.
And you're doing a fantastic job about speaking up. You have a letter that you wrote to the Modesto Bee.
Yes, I did. I sent it in. It was too long. And I kept thinking, well, I don't think I can shorten it. But today I shortened it. So I'll read this to the Modesto Bee. The issue of Wood Colony is an issue of rights. Think about that a while. Our Declaration of Independence says we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. Now we know the source, don't we? Since our rights come from God, does He grant the right of our city leaders to take away the land and heritage of those in Wood Colony. Did they not buy a farm because they wanted to farm? Did they not buy in Wood Colony because they wanted to live in Wood Colony? That is their right. Does the city have the right to trump their rights? The answer is simple, I believe. Government cannot disperse rights it does not have. It is dangerous when government attempts to take God-given rights away from us. No entity can grant what it doesn't first possess. The 10th commandment is crystal clear that we are to steer away from the property rights of our neighbor. You remember the 10th commandment, we're not to covet the neighbor's wife, we're not to covet the neighbor's animals and so on. They're his property. So property rights is important to God. And according to George Washington, listen to this quote from him. Government is not reason, it is not eloquence, it is force. Like a fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Interesting, that's way back then. I say this force should be used to protect our God-given property rights and heritage and not to take them away. That's the letter. That's the heart. As I'm concerned with the biblical thing, I realize that's a big challenge because how long have we been doing this? We're even going further and just grabbing the property away from people, you know, eminent domain. But even this is a form that's contrary to our rights.
I kind of feel like we're trying to stop a tsunami with a teaspoon.
Yeah. It is a tsunami. It is indeed. But we have to try. You know, we have to ask the people to, in charge here to stop, look, and listen. You know?
What we learned in kindergarten.
Yes. It's just as simple as that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, you brought your Bible tonight?
I did.
Okay, and I know that we're going to get to that in just a minute, but I'd like to hear some more of your heritage. I'm going to, I don't know if we can focus in on any of these pictures, but I am going to open this up so the viewers can see that there are family, I don't think we need to focus in on it, I'll just tip it forward so you can see. There's like family pictures. This is like a yearbook and a family album all wrapped up, and a history book as well. I mean, and it's been well used. The book opens up very flat and nice. So,
and it's interesting reading.
It is.
Very interesting.
And it's interesting to see what Wood Colony is, because there have been a few people say, those who would want to develop out into the Wood Colony area, they have said, oh, I've actually heard this come out of their mouth. They really don't know what Wood Colony is.
Yeah.
Wood Colony is only like 25 acres, or Wood Colony is only like 100 acres,
oh.
or Wood Colony is only this. They, you know, a little pat on the head, they don't really know what it is.
Well, Low Beecher addressed it. He's about as much of authority as can be, but as a boy, let me just say my opinion. As a boy, we considered everything from Maze Road to Salida. And from Modesto to Dunn, you know?
Right.
That's what we always thought was Wood Colony.
Right.
Never thought anything other than that. You know?
You can't see the map here, but you know, when this goes up to YouTube, I will put a link with these pictures so you can check them out on your own, on your computer. So those pictures will be there for you. But yeah, when I moved there, I thought that Wood Colony, I live on a street by the name of Woodland. And I thought that Woodland was safely nestled inside Wood Colony. And I didn't realize until we saw Modesto's general plan that in fact they're saying that Wood Colony stops at Woodland. And like I said, the individual who was speaking to me, or actually speaking just behind me, said that that's not even Wood Colony. It's just a little tiny bit of area.
Oh my. Oh my.
Kind of basically, you know, over there near Beckwith someplace. You know,
Yeah.
I found it interesting too that the city maps aren't even accurate. They show Woodland stopping at Dakota and it actually goes all the way up to Hart.
Oh,
it's
no,
like,
that's
how are
right.
they supposed to draw a general plan when they don't even know what
Exactly.
streets are there? And I think Jake Winger addressed that too with Texas Road. So,
Where else can you go? It's rare. and find a place called like Wood Colony.
Mhm.
Where else can you go? That's not common.
It is
You know,
not.
it
I've
is
only
very,
found one
very
other place
uncommon.
on earth.
Where people have written a book about us. All of us think of ourselves as Wood Colony people, you know. We know our neighbors, we know each other, we fellowship together. I mean, what happened when this come up in the city? We all came, 250 to the meeting, you know, and another 200 to our church the other night, and they turn out in groves because we're one unit to take it, and we will stand together. We will stand together.
You know, at that meeting on that Saturday, I think it was the 18th, you mentioned if the city decides to redraw this, are we going to still stand together?
Yeah, proportion it out.
Right.
And I asked the people, because I thought that's the issue. I still think that was the issue of the night. But, okay, so now they're saying, well, I guess we're going to run into some trouble getting this all we are asking for. Let's take some anyway. And then my idea was, hold it. Are we going to stand together as one and say, oh, good, I'm glad it's not my section they're taking. Are we going to stand together as one? And I had a motive for that, a selfish motive. I did, and I don't mind saying, because if they take anything, they're going to take our church.
Because your church is located
right in the
there.
Beckwith Triangle. And so, where's my heart? Well, right now my heart's in my church. You know, I would hate to see that church, it's been there since 1937, it was built in 1937, been there since 1937, kept up beautifully, and become something different than what it is right now. I would hate to see that. I just gonna fight as long as hard as I can.
What was the response from the crowd there when you asked that question?
Oh my, it was as one voice. You know, I asked them, will we? And they responded in a very positive, in one voice, loud way, you know, not inappropriate for the church, but, you know, demonstrative, you know, yeah. So it was good. I think heritage, I'm thinking about the church, and I'm thinking about those German Baptist people, brethren people out there. I'm thinking about my family and Culver family. I think heritage is more important than money. And I think it's more important than jobs. I do. I can't see how we can just pave concrete and put big 4-lane roads out there. I just don't see how it can happen. It's sad, you know, it's sad. Just ignoring 100 years of people and families. There's other places for jobs. There's other places that jobs can be put in without taking the richest, finest, fertile ground in most of the world, probably, but certainly in this area and probably in California. Great fertile ground, great strong heritage, the finest of people you'll find anywhere, and say, nope, we're going to change all that. And it would definitely change all that. It really would. That's my heart. And I think that's the heart of all those people the other night. They all felt the same way. I don't think they'll ever start throwing bricks through the council member. They're good people. It ain't going to happen. But they're going to stand as one. They're going to stand as one. And they're going to stand for what they believe is right. And they're going to expect good people to respond properly.